fines to get into the counties so the counties can do projects. The transfer of court fines to the respective county government has faced challenges, Honorable Speaker, due to the lack of a framework for the collection and transfer of the same. And therefore, currently, the law requires that all revenue collected by the judiciary be sent to the consolidated fund, Honorable Speaker. And if we do not have a law, these funds cannot be transferred to the counties. Honorable Speaker, please add me like 3 minutes because you can see my flow of thoughts is on high gear.
No, we are adding you 1 minute.
No, 3 would be good. I know you're a good man, Mr. Speaker, and you'll actually do that. Honorable Speaker, there are certain important things. You see, we have seen many county government health workers running around and they are protesting and all that because they want arrears to be paid to them. But you see, Honorable Speaker, there is no framework for paying these arrears. But this County Additional Allocation Fund bill actually does that. You have seen protests here in front of Parliament. They want their arrears. They want their money to be paid. But the most important, the elephant in the room, Honorable Speaker, is that there is no framework to disburse the arrears to these workers. And I want to assure the health workers in the counties that when we pass this bill, their arrears will be paid because this is the framework that is required to ensure that we pay the arrears. So I want to tell them to hold their horse. This Parliament will ensure this bill is passed. And when this bill is passed, the basic salary arrears for the county health workers will be paid, Honorable Speaker. And it is quite a colossal amount of money. It is 1.759 billion shillings. And this money will be paid, Honorable Speaker, if we pass this bill. And I want to request members of this House to ensure that we facilitate and pay the arrears. Honorable Speaker, you can see in the schedule, the amount is shared among 10 counties. Where fines was collected, not that piece, because I've done that. I've done already that piece. Honorable Speaker, there is also funds from development partners, funded projects. Now, this amounts to around 33 billion shillings. That is there. But it cannot be spent because we do not have a framework, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, the funds that comes from IDA, Emergency Locust Response, money for IDA, Kenya Informal Settlement, the KISI Program 1, the money for financing locally led climate action program, the FLOCA. The FLOCA is a very popular project, I know, in my county. But now they cannot use the money because there's no framework for it. But if we pass this, Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Urban Support Project, Urban Development Grants, all these amounts of money, Honorable Speaker, available from DANITA, from AFD, all this money needs to be swept and given to the counties so that all this noise that we hear, people are not being paid for this project is stalled, this project is not moving forward, Honorable Speaker, is available. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, as we disperse these funds through this county additional allocations bill, Honorable Speaker, I would like to request county governors that have been given this money to do a good job and ensure proper utilization of this money so that this money that we are disbursing from this House is useful to the people, helps in the development, and to further the devolution spirit that was pushed by the leader of ODM and Honorable Raila Odinga, for which my friend Oundo here is very passionate about. Now,
yes, the Honorable Martin Owino, MP Ndiwa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this bill wholeheartedly. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Baya has made a lot of comments here which are very factual and very important. But it really makes us unhappy. If we have the money, even from development partners, in billions, in fact 33 billion, he says is correct, and cannot just be dispersed to rural folks to use because of lack of infrastructure. And I was asking Dr. Nyikal here, we used to have these monies from SIDA, DANIDA, all those taken to the counties. Why do we have a delay on this? And the effect is enormous. For example, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the community health workers, which I champion for, and I know why. Because of early detection of diseases so that they can be cured, they be treated well, on time, without paralyzing the system in the villages. Early detection diseases are done by community health promoters, and that has been proven. That is much cheaper than dealing with progressed and full-blown diseases in tertiary care. And these are areas, and their allowances held here. Mr. Speaker, there's no one who can do work without compensation. These people pay for school fees, they pay for the upkeep of their families and all that. But more intriguing, Mr. Speaker, is that when these funds are held here, there are so many things that's happening. One, they are not just grants and shares from the national government. Some of these are loans, meaning we are paying for loans which are held here and are not doing the work at the rural settings. Some of these monies which are held here, Mr. Speaker, are also salary arrears for health workers. So it appears to me, members, that we are shooting ourselves in the foot. At one point, we are giving the hospitals, especially level 6 and 5, the budget to deal with the conditions which we ought to have even prevented at the primary health care. Money from Danida and all that category are supposed to improve primary health care. Now we are having them here. So as a result, we will have progressed conditions which unnecessarily should have been allowed to do that. Some of the monies are also for climate resilience, agriculture, food systems resilience, which can make also the rural economy become more vibrant. They are held here. As a result, when this is not acted quickly, Mr. Speaker, and I urge members to do so, what will happen is that we are killing the rural economies, we are interfering with the health of our people, and also we are interfering with businesses, because some of these development partners are supporting small business scale. Mr. Speaker, we are also interfering with equity and equality, which is distancing itself as the time goes. There are so many people who are sinking into poverty, and a few who are opulently living are at the top of the helm. So, Mr. Speaker, as a House, I think it was wrong for the other institutions like the Senate and the COG to demand that this bill be that their 10 billion bill be added into this in order to pass. That does not make sense to me. It appears that they are also shooting themselves in the foot. Why don't we just pass this bill, release the money, and fight other fights, not with the money that is holding the lives of people? So I urge members, because I feel the necessity and the urgency of this money to be released, to pass this as soon as possible. I thank you for the time, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable James Jika, you are on my list here. You speaking on this?
Can I have them? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I arise to support this bill. And Mr. Speaker, what bothers me is that this is a bill actually for the 2024-25. It's the funds that should have long been used, and we are still discussing them. And the people they were supposed to serve actually have not been served. The jobs they were supposed to do have not been done. And Mr. Speaker, my concern is the perpetual adversarial relationship between the counties and the national government. When devolution came, Mr. Speaker, I don't think the idea was to actually build territories. The idea was actually to get monies to flow to the counties. It's a good idea because it has made equity much easier. And it really does not matter to the people that are being served where the resources come from. And I think as leaders we should realize this. When we are having territorial differences and thinking this should be that, should this, that, the people are just, if it is water, they're just looking for water. They don't want to know whether the water is from the national government or the water is from the county government. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I think that this should not be happening every year. The relationship actually, the law provided, Article 187 of the Constitution provided how this should be done. The Intergovernmental Relations and Technical Committee provided how there should be a relationship, even between policies, even between programs at the county and the national level. And so when it comes to just distributing money so that we give additional money to the counties, why should we have a difference? I will agree with my colleague, Honorable Martin, that if you have other things that we differ on, I think we should let the money go and serve the people, and we go on. And I think it is time that we actually relooked at our structures. Are we adhering to them, or we are actually just using them as obstacles to service to the people? If you look in these particular instances, the programs that are actually being delayed, the arrears for the agreements during the strikes of the health workers, is that money that we should actually be questioning. That money should have gone, and people should have been paid to the counties if they're working in the counties, and they should be paid. Because what was agreed, that the bargaining agreement was that the national government should pay, and we agreed that they should pay, and that was what was part of the return to work formula. I think, Mr. Speaker, you yourself, you are more versed in these things. Why we delay these things, I do not know. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the issue of community health workers, these people were putting more and more loads on them. You go into the rural areas, you are finding that we are putting more equipment with them. Now we are asking them to take blood pressures, we are asking them to help diabetics. We are putting more and more load on them. But when the time comes to pay them, even now, Mr. Speaker, I'm not satisfied with the payment structure for the community health promoters. Even the change of name from community health workers, community health volunteers, are now community health it shows that deep inside, we really don't want to acknowledge these people as health workers. Now they are calling them promoters. And now, part of the money is being paid by the county government, part of the money is being paid by the national government, and that is why this money has to move. We actually need to get a clear structure. To me, get all that money and put it to the counties and let those people be paid. People are best paid where they work. Money should come through the supervisors that they know. You can't be working in one level and your money is coming from another level. If there is delay, you do not even know how to follow up that money. So I think these are things we should do. And as we know, there are a lot of funds that comes to us through grants and loans from partners, international partners. Mr. Speaker, those monies are being given to Kenyans, and Kenyans live in the counties. They are I don't know Kenyans that live at national level, I don't know where they are. So if the monies come through, in fact, we should have more programs at the county levels. So if the grant and loans are to move from partners are to move to the counties, is that something we should still have arguments about? And even where the proceeds are from activities that have taken part in the counties, like the courts, when the proceeds of court fines come and it's agreed that they should actually be shared, those are things that once we put the law, if we feel the law is not as good as we want it, let it pass 1 year, and the next year we can always amend the law. We can always look at it. But we cannot hold services that we want a perfect law. For me, Mr. Speaker, we should be more focused on getting the services to our people at the counties. Whatever money we get that should go to the counties, they should go. Arguments should come later. With that, Mr. Speaker, I support this bill.
The Honorable Phyllis Barto.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to put my voice and support this county government additional allocation bill, National Assembly number 2, 2025. Mr. Speaker, we started devolution and we cannot strangle it so that it is not able to serve the people. Mr. Speaker, county governments play a very important role in our economy and to the people of Kenya. And when the county governments are not well resourced, it is the same people we are serving who become disadvantaged. Mr. Speaker, a case in point is my county, the county of Uasin Gishu. And I empathize and sympathize with my governor, Jonathan B. or Elias Kotimoja. Because, Mr. Speaker, because of the scarcity of resources in the county government, the governor has been reduced to playing very minor roles in the county, which I don't want to mention, because he is not resourced, he doesn't have money to run the activities of the county. Mr. Speaker, case in point is the road infrastructure, which, in fact, at this time of the year in Uasin Gishu, it is raining. And the county roads are in very bad condition. The machines which have been purchased are just idle because there is no fuel. The county cannot fuel those machines so that the roads are improved. The road network is improved. So, Mr. Speaker, this bill is very important and it should be dealt with the urgency it deserves so that our counties can continue being operational. Mr. Speaker, a case in point is also the promoters, the health promoters. They are supposed to be given a small figure of 5,000, very little amount of money, which is not even enough. And yet they are not getting it because there is no money in our counties. And Mr. Speaker, we are giving them a lot of additional work. For instance, they are supposed to be registering SHA. They are supposed to be sensitizing communities in a matter SHA. Yet they do it. They do it very diligently. But at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, they don't have anything to take home. Mr. Speaker, if we are supposed to make this SHA functional, this money should be released to the county so that they can run. Our hospitals, Mr. Speaker, there is no medication. In fact, as I was coming to Parliament a few minutes ago, I met a group of health workers demonstrating in the streets. This is a clear indication that our county governments are not working. They are not operating because they don't have resources. And at the same time, in fact, the little resources which they have are to use it to support other services because they are not enough. Mr. Speaker, the issue of fertilizer, which is very key at the moment, especially during the planting season, was devolved to counties. They are supposed